Okay, so learning a little bit about planes, lines, geometry. Where would I ever use this, Mr. Larson? Well, let's say that you use it in drawing. There's a good number of students that I've met that they are artists. You know, they're drawing stuff all the time. I love to draw. I do a little bit of art myself. I do some art projects. Made a couple things. Here's one. I'm going to turn the camera here. Here's a couple over there. Got some of my Star Wars stuff. Kind of cool, right? Hope you think it's cool. Hopefully nobody's like, oh man, that looks horrible. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about art. All right. So, have you ever had this picture that you want to draw, and maybe you have a hard time with that perception, that depth perception of maybe a building or something, right? And you want to get a little bit better at that. Well, this is one of those things that I took away from the art teacher at my school. He teaches here, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use geometry to be able to help me draw a building. Okay. Now, depending on the building, you're going to have a point over here, and then you're going to have another point over here. And so this is how you're going to use geometry to help you draw a building. Now, the actual name for this is perspective drawing. Okay, I had to remember that one. It's actually pretty cool to be able to use it. Oh, traced my fingers there. Okay. Now, oh, I made that a little too small. You'd be surprised how hard this is to do with this. Okay, well, take a look at this, and then you say, all right, Mr. Larson, your building doesn't look like a building yet. Well, that's okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to measure here, kind of get me a general idea here. That was a little off. Okay. All right. Maybe that looks a little bit more like a building. But if you were to follow more lines, you could be able to put some windows in here and some doors. Like that. Okay. But just the general idea of perspective drawing. So now you have this look that the building is going away from you down this street, and especially if I put like another street there, and the building is going away from you this direction. Okay, and so this helps artists when they're trying to draw. And I know that most probably people get a little bit better at this than my rough drawing here. But if you've ever got to the point where you really want to be good at making buildings and drawing these buildings, you have to be able to work with points that are a little bit farther away. So kind of cool thing that you can work with geometry, being able to help you with drawing. So you'll be surprised what you find.